Photography is your secret weapon when it comes to building your personal brand. Today, I'm going to give you some of my best tips for your photo shoot. You should believe me when it comes to this because I have literally branded hundreds of people in all different industries, and today we are branding you. Let's get right to it. I'm in Mexico City, and the question comes from Kendall, who says, Phil, I'd love a professional photo shoot, but I don't know how to direct the photographer. What do I tell them? Kendall, this is a great question, and it's one that a lot of people have asked me about. In fact, it's an area of a lot of stress and confusion. Generally, people don't enjoy getting their photo taken, but it's hugely important when it comes to building your brand, and I will explain to you why in this video. Before, in fact, I give you my 4 tips for your photo shoot, I want to explain why this photo shoot is so important. When we think of branding, we might often think of logos, wording, websites, but keep in mind that these days we are juggling 2 versions of ourselves, the in-person experience and the online version of you. Photography is your secret weapon because it enables you to show people your brand instead of just telling them. Now I'm going to show you some examples as I work through some of these tips. These are people that I have branded. Let's get started with tip number 1. No headshots. A headshot, or what I mean by this, is a simple photo of you against a plain, boring white background. This won't tell me absolutely anything about you. It won't help you stand out, and I'm probably not even going to remember you, and that's why I don't like headshots. Take my client Chandresh, for example. Chandresh had headshots prior to working together with me, but I couldn't actually use this photo for his branding because it didn't show me or tell me anything about him, his perspective, his process, nada. So, even though I liked his outfit, I told him he had to get some new photos. I told him to wear the same thing, but instead travel with a photographer into the forest and film there. Seeing him meditate in this amazing, inspiring environment better communicated his brand as a spiritual advisor. So tip number 1, no headshots. Moving right along to tip number 2, movement. Kendall, you asked me about how to tell your photographer to take your photo, how to direct them. Any good photographer will get you moving so that he or she can capture you in your natural environment and movement. Trust me. This feels uncomfortable and it feels vulnerable. I know it does. Moving around in ways that you might not move every day is kind of awkward, but trust me, this translates well on camera. What kind of actions or movements can you do? Here are a few: writing, thinking, walking, jumping, laughing, singing. Choose a few actions that reflect who you are and how you might work with a client. And if you're more, for example, naturally restrained, then probably a jumping photo is not going to be for you. Whereas if you're high energy, feel free to laugh, move, jump around. That would work perfectly for you. Here are a few examples of my very favorite client photo shoots over the years. I actually have a blog all about this with more examples and links to see the entire projects. I will link to that in the description below. Tip number 3, use a shot list. Shot lists are critical for planning the steps of the photography process. You're likely spending money on photos, so that means that you should probably get the biggest bang for your buck. Make sure you're capturing every element of your personal brand while you've got that time with a photographer. There are several templates floating around out there online. You can use one of these. I have one that I use for my client shoots, but my best advice is to keep this simple. A shot list should answer who, what, when, where, why, ensuring that you and your photographer are on the same page. Finally, tip number 4, your face. It doesn't have to be in every single photo. In fact, it shouldn't be in every single photo. Let me explain. When you get a shoot as a personal brand, you ultimately are creating a set of photos that work together on the web. A telltale sign of an amateur website is when a person's face is everywhere. As a user, you start to feel uncomfortable. It's like, why is this person staring at me on every single page? And their face becomes less visually rewarding because it's plastered all over the place. So intermix your face with more environment photos, like a few of my clients have. Simon T. Bailey is a motivational speaker, and I love this shot of him mid-thought. Desiree Rogers worked as social secretary for President Obama in his first term, and this beautiful shot shows us her home office with varying colors of books and layers and textures and random pieces of work all together to create a beautiful scene that is creative, purposeful, and totally Desiree. Rick Lindbergh is an analytical advisor, and one of the big parts of his job is thinking, which is why you don't need to see his face in every single photo. But we do allude to that experience of meeting or communicating with him. Even I use filler photos. It's important to get them at the same time as your shoot so that there's consistency with lighting and environment for the shots that you do have with your face and without it. There you have it, my best 4 tips for your photo shoot. What kinds of movements are you going to incorporate into your next photo shoot? I'd love to know. Comment below and share. I promise to read them and respond. Don't forget, if you like this video, to like, comment, and subscribe for more practical advice to looking good online. I'm Phil Pallen. I appreciate your time spent with me today, and I'll see you back next time.